These are my Catalunya settings. I've raised the ride height because I like front end suspension travel. I don't like the car riding on the bump stops all the time. So I raised the rear ride height to maximum and then adjusted the aero balance with the front end only. And I'll show that right now. Go to the garage. Let's see, setup, current setup, tires, electronics, fuel strategy, mechanical grip, dampers, and aero. As you can see with the ride height, the rear is at the maximum of 80 millimeters and the front ride height is adjusted for the maximum aerodynamic oversteer I can control the car with. So the car can have more aerodynamic oversteer, but any more than this and it becomes really difficult to control at high speeds. And onto other settings. My previous anti-roll bar settings are way too soft. I was relying heavily on the bump stops to control the car. So after raising the ride height, I adjusted the springs. They're a little softer. However, I also raised the bump stop range from 2 to 3. So what I found at Spa was through the compression of Eau Rouge, or that whole complex, the uphill complex, with the bump stop range set to 2, it prevented the car from scraping the ground through the compression. This track doesn't have a heavy compression like that, so I went ahead and increased the essentially dampered travel. So even though I raised the ride height, right, if I leave it at 2, the damper travel doesn't change, even at the higher ride height. But if I change the bump stop range, now there's more suspension travel that is allowed to move through the higher ride height range, if that makes any sense. And with these settings, as opposed to my previous settings where they're just low ride height test settings, I was able to achieve a time that was about a second faster. I was getting 1 minute 50 second laps, and now I'm getting 1 minute 49 second laps. And it might be due to improvement at the track, but I think having easier to drive settings made it easier to get the faster time. So onto the replay. I need to save the setups actually and make sure everything's right. Yeah, okay. Save this. Okay. And the replay. Go to where to change view. That doesn't change view. Change camera. Okay. Hopefully this shows the correct lap. This is not the right camera view. There we go. That's the camera view I want. Actually, the other one might be better. There's a little bit more head movement, but whatever. It shows the wheel positioning. So it's official that winter gaming season is over for me. I mean, obviously winter is over for everybody in the northern hemisphere, but all my passive GPU cooling is gone because it's now hot outside and I can't just open my window. Is that not going to show the whole lap? Really? Didn't save the lap. That's a bummer. So there's no lap I don't get to show my fastest lap. I'm going to drive the car then, just to show off the settings, I guess. I was planning on just playing the replay and then ending the video, but that's not happening. Anyway, I don't have passive GPU cooling anymore because it's hot outside. I'm not going to get an AC unit for my room, although that would be nice. So I have to let the tires warm up. Let the car run wide here. So I can gain a little bit more speed, mid-corner speed that is, with a softer front spring. Same anti-roll, but softer front spring. But I'm more prone to throttle oversteer on exits with the softer front spring. And so I have to put in a little bit more push in the car, in the settings, so I can control the car, because this game doesn't like to allow slide recovery, essentially. Don't want to run too much on this curb. Once the car starts sliding, it's very difficult to recover, and so I want to tune in just controllable oversteer into the car, and that means having understeer, essentially. So I'm still deciding whether or not I want to keep these spring settings or raise the spring settings back to where they were. But I certainly need the stiffer anti-roll bar so the car doesn't run on the bump stops as much. Let's see if I can get a good lap. Coast on throttle, wait for the corner to open up, and then get back on power. I was a little bit sloppy. Oh, a little bit too much throttle oversteer. I might want to increase that front spring rate. Even though it slid so very little, it was very scary. Coast with a lot of speed. There's some oversteer. Late on throttle because of the oversteer. Coast through this turn. Back on power. Let it understeer through the apex. I lost about a tenth. Missed the apex here. Whoops. Stay in second, and sometimes shift into third there. A lot of wheel work, turning into the second part of the chicane. Stay off the curb. 2/10 off, 3/10 off. Still 49.6, not bad. That wasn't even the correct lap, I don't think. Or was it? Was that the second lap? Oh no, I'll just do another lap anyway, just because. A cool down lap, I guess. Wrong gear. Definitely not going to go past this lap. Much better corner exit there. That's why the understeer is preferable. Much easier to control. Missed the apex again. So anyway, like I said, it's easier to go faster. I don't know if maybe the lower ride height setting could be potentially faster. Oh, I was supposed to say in a second there. But it's easier for me to go faster with these settings than with the super low ride height settings. And out of sheer laziness, I'm probably going to use these settings for every other track. Maybe a little bit of aerodynamic ride height adjustment depending on how much oversteer there is or understeer there is in specific corners or corner complexes on other tracks. Anyway, these are the settings. Till the next one.